You're not alone. Many people don't know how blood pressure works, so hopefully this video helps you to understand how to read those numbers. When you get your blood pressure taken, we use a cuff. We put it over your arm and it measures the blood pressure in your blood vessels. Where does that pressure come from? Well, it comes from your heart. Remember, your heart is a muscle, and every time it squeezes, it exerts a pressure on the blood vessels within your body. So when your heart squeezes, that's what we call a systolic blood pressure. That's the top number that you'll see. And that's the pressure inside your blood vessels when your heart is contracting. Now, when your heart relaxes, it drops down to a lower number, not zero, a lower number, and that is what we call diastolic. So the top number in your blood pressure is when your heart squeezes, that's the systolic, and when your heart relaxes, that's the diastolic. So those are where the two numbers come from. Now, a perfect blood pressure, or the average blood pressure of healthy people, is 120/80. Now, you have to remember that not everyone is the same. For example, if you are an avid athlete, you might have a lower than normal blood pressure, and that does not mean that you have an emergency. And if you're stressed or you just had an argument, your blood pressure might come up a little bit, but that also is a normal physiologic response. But when your blood pressure starts to remain elevated, for example, that top number remains above 130 or that bottom number continues to remain above 80, then that is when you enter into the territory of having high blood pressure. And the reason why that's important to understand is because blood pressure is not something that you can feel. For the most part, blood pressure is silent, but your organs still feel it. Your brain, your heart, your kidneys are still feeling that elevated pressure, and over time, that can cause harm to your vital organs. There are a variety of factors that influence what our blood pressure looks like. I already talked about a few. For example, stress can increase your blood pressure, and chronic stress can lead to chronically elevated blood pressure. That's why it's so important to recognize stress as a risk factor for things like heart disease, strokes, and even dementia. And your diet can influence your blood pressure as well. For example, a diet heavy in saturated fats can lead to higher levels of cholesterol, and that can lead your blood vessels to getting smaller. And you can imagine when your blood vessel gets smaller, the pressure needed to push through it is higher. And so that can lead to elevated blood pressure, which again can damage your vital organs. And the reason why exercise is associated with lower blood pressure is because it strengthens your blood vessels, it makes them more elastic, so that when your heart squeezes, that pressure is evenly distributed throughout your body and your pressure doesn't come up. It's one of the reasons why a lack of exercise is associated with high blood pressure. But there are some where despite a good diet, regular exercise, and great sleep, will still have elevated blood pressure, which is why it's vital that everyone check their blood pressure on a regular basis at least once a year. Hopefully that helps you to understand what those numbers mean and why they're important. All right, talk soon.